Hey, Brent Messmer here with Technical Taekwondo. Today's video we are going to be going through Taegyuk Oh Jahn. Oh Jahn is the fifth form in the Taegyuk series. It is 20 steps. So we're doing this form for a couple different viewpoints, and at the end we'll also show it a full speed version. Afterwards, what we're going to be going through is any new blocks or strikes that are in Taegyuk Oh Jahn. So stay tuned for that if you want to learn how we're doing our basic blocks and strikes. Let's get into it. Taegyuk Oh Jahn. Taegyuk Oh Jahn. Turning to the left, front stance, low block. I'm going to slide that left foot back into T stance. Left hand makes a big swing, vertical hammer fist strike, striking that collarbone. Okay. Turning to the right, front stance, low block. Slide that right foot back, T stance, vertical hammer fist strike. Looking to the left hand lifts high, inner middle block. Chamber up, right hand, inner middle block. From here, we're going to throw front kick, chamber up, back fist, inner middle block. Again, front kick, back fist, inner middle block. Step forward, front stance, back fist strike. From here, I'm going to turn, bringing feet together, stepping into back stance, outer knife hand. Step forward in the front stance, obverse elbow strike. Pushing off the front foot, knife hand. Step forward in the front stance, obverse elbow. Look left, bring the feet back together. Low block, inner middle block. Front kick, back fist, inner middle block. Looking to the left, high block. Right foot side kick. Reverse elbow strike. Turn to the right. High block. Left foot rear leg side kick. Landing in front stance. Reverse elbow. Look to the left. Front stance. Low block. Inner middle block. Front kick. A little bit of a hop. Landing in X stance. Vertical back fist strike. Key up on the back fist. Left foot returns. Come on. Turn to the left, low block, out of front stance, slide back T stance, vertical hammer fist. Look to the right, low block, slide back T stance, vertical hammer fist. Going left, inner middle, front kick, back fist, inner middle, front kick, back fist, inner middle, step forward, vertical back fist. From here, I'm going to turn backwards, outer knife hand block, step forward front stance, vertical elbow strike. Turn, back stance, outer knife hand and a back stance, step forward front stance, obverse elbow. Look to the left, low block, chamber up, inner middle block, front kick, chamber, vertical back fist, chamber, inner middle block. Turn to the left, cross the hands, high block. Right leg side kick. I'm also going to throw a back fist strike at the same time. This makes sure that my right hand is already extended so that I know which one I'm going to be doing the elbow strike with. So when I throw the side kick, if I leave my back fist extended, all I got to do is lift this hand as I step into front stance, and I know which elbow I'm going to be striking with. Pushing off that front foot, turn. High block, stack the hands, side kick, I throw that back fist, stepping out, reverse elbow. Looking left, low block, chamber up, inner middle block, front kick, and come on. Taegyuk Oh Jahn. Turning to the left, front stance, low block. I'm going to slide that left foot back into T stance. Left hand makes a big swing, vertical hammer fist strike, striking that collarbone. Okay. Turning to the right, front stance, low block. Slide that right foot back, T stance, vertical hammer fist strike. Looking to the left, left hand lifts high, inner middle block. Chamber up, right hand, inner middle block. From here, we're going to throw front kick, chamber up, back fist, inner middle block. Again, front kick, back fist, inner middle block. Step forward, front stance, back fist strike. From here, I'm going to turn, bringing feet together, stepping into back stance, outer knife hand. Step forward to front stance, obverse elbow strike. Pushing off the front foot, knife hand. Step forward into front stance, obverse elbow. Look left, bring the feet back together, low block, inner middle block. Front kick, back fist, inner middle block. Looking to the left, high block. Right foot side kick, reverse elbow strike. Turn to the right, high block, left foot rear leg side kick. Landing in front stance, reverse elbow. Look to the left, front stance, low block, inner middle block. Front kick, a little bit of a hop, landing in X stance, vertical back fist strike. Key up on the back fist. Left foot returns, come on. The sequence coming down the middle, there's a lot going on. You're doing a lot of double blocks, a lot of double strikes. Okay, so when I'm coming in, make sure that you are hitting all the chambers on the blocks. Even if it takes you a little bit longer than the guy next to you, I don't care. He's probably doing it wrong. Take the time to get those chambers up. 1, 2. It will come faster with time. But if I'm going, yay, I'm fast, but I'm doing it wrong. So chamber up nice and big. Bringing the hand across, make sure the shoulders are square. I'm not doing anything weird with the shoulders. When I do my front kick, I chamber up the back fist. 1, 2. Okay, so make sure you're hitting all of those chambers. So again, the down section is inner middle, making sure I'm hitting the full chambers. Kick, back fist, inner, kick, back fist, inner, and then a single back fist. So that coordination-wise is difficult, and usually it's because students want to go too fast too soon. They see the higher ranks doing it, and they're like, I want to do that. Well, they're not seeing the steps in between that the higher ranks had to go through. Okay, so work your way through all the steps. Start slow, a little bit fast, a little bit, and make sure you have the coordination to do it correctly. The other most difficult part of this form is the side kicks. And just like on Tae Gyuk Oh Jahn, throwing your side kick and landing into a front stance is not easy. You just have to drill it. Okay, so I highly suggest that you practice just that section. Okay, so if I'm here, practice side kick, turn, boom, side kick, boom. Just drill that until you're good at it. And then the last section, the fourth fundamental movement for green belt is landing in that X stance. So front kick, boom. Make sure I'm landing forward. I'm not turning sideways. My hips are facing forward, my shoulders are facing forward, and I sit into that X stance when I hit that back fist. Okay? So those are the couple of problem areas with Tae Gyuk Oh Jahn. So take your time and work those sections out individually. The best way to get better at your form, once you understand the areas that you're having the most difficulty with, just practice those sections. It's going to take me approximately a minute or two to do the entire form. But I'm only having a problem with one part of it, which is 4 movements. I can practice those 4 movements 10 times in that 2 minutes. And that's a much more efficient use of my time. So I'll work that section out until I understand how to do it and I'm good at it. And then I'll take that and I'll put that better skill into the entire form. So that's how I have built my forms to build up to the quality where they need to be, is by tearing apart the pieces and then put them back together again. Okay, and it's the easiest way to do it. So remember, when you guys are training forms, your first objective is to learn the pattern and understand where you're going and what you're doing when you get there. So understanding your techniques, understanding the stances, that's part of learning the pattern. Once you understand the pattern, your next part is to start increasing the coordination and the speed a little bit and start hitting a little bit harder. Once you understand that, then we can get into the rhythm and the flow of the form and a little bit more of the artistic side. But it's a steady process where you got to build yourself up to that. Okay, so don't start thinking full power until you've been doing the form for a few weeks. Okay, really get the pattern where you don't have to stare at the ceiling and wonder what direction you're going next, or copy off the person next to you hoping they're going the right direction. So practice the form so that you have the pattern down where you can do it without having to think about it or going back to the resource material. Okay. So on Tae Gyuk Oh Jahn, you have some new interesting rhythm changes on this one. Again, this is kind of your second intermediate form, leaning in towards the advanced form. So on Tae Gyuk Oh Jahn, it's interesting because it starts off with really fast motions. You got your back fist, your inner middle blocks, and all that is really just rapid fire. You want to be precise with it though. You want to cut in sharply. You don't want your hands just flopping around. You want to control that so it looks nice and crisp and clean, and that takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of practice. The second half of the form, it kind of switches gears. It's almost the opposite of Taegyuk Sajjan. Sajjan was power and then speed. Oh Jahn is speed and then it turns into power. So it's a kind of a mirror image as far as the way the forms are done. So play with that a little bit and really get into the rhythm changes and kind of make it your own a little bit. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it interesting, is learning how to do those rhythm changes. So the first sequence of the form on Tae Gyuk Oh Jahn, where you're sliding into the low block and you slide back out into the T stance and drop the hammer fist down, that actually has an application or a bunkai to it, to use the Japanese term. Most of the Taegyuk forms don't have a bunkai really. Their forms are actually designed to teach you movement and body and flow. So when we're stepping into this, the low block, you can be seen as a wrist escape dropping down into the strike. So that's a possible application for it. Again, not all movements in the Taegyuks have those. But instead of being a low block, you could think of it as a wrist escape as I'm coming down. To teach the hammer fist strike, we're going to break that down real quick. So first of all, the T stance. Feet are directly underneath the hips, just like your Jumbi position. I'm going to turn my lead foot in the direction of travel. So if I'm going this way, my right foot is facing forward. From here, I'm going to bring the hand down, making a big circle and dropping it down on the collarbone. So this is very similar to an action if you were ever chopping wood or swinging a sledgehammer, where you're bringing it back around you and letting it drop. Except we're only doing it with one hand, but turn and let that drop. So use the hips. That's probably the hardest part for people to get, is the hip action. My hips turn and then I roll it as I bring it down. So here and dropping it down. So that's probably the hardest action to get on that. Going down the floor, we have inner middle blocks and we have inner middle blocks followed by back fist strike. So when you're coming down the floor, it's 1, 2, kick, back fist, inner middle. So on the back fist strike, which is a vertical back fist, I want to bring my palm up against my ear as my lead hand is extended just like a punch would be. Okay? So after the inner middle block, I would extend for a punch as this hand comes across. And then I'm dropping it as I'm twisting my wrist at the last instant and dropping that down onto the bridge of the nose. So 1, 2, and it comes straight down. Shoulders are square. So make sure at the end of that strike, that shoulder is coming back to square the shoulders. Otherwise, you see a little bit of half facing if you're being lazy on it. Okay? So, and that is striking the bridge of the nose. The next two movements that are new in Taegyuk Oh Jahn are, there's two different elbow strikes. One is an obverse elbow, one is a reverse elbow. The obverse elbow in Oh Jahn, I'm stepping forward in front stance, closed fist gets wrapped by the opposite hand. I'm bringing the elbow in around to the side. Be careful that your front knee doesn't also twist inward as you're coming in. You want to maintain the integrity of your front stance as you come in this way. So one, driving in this way. If I'm practicing this going up and down the floor, what I teach my students is to change hands. Okay? So the fist is on the inside. I'm going to step forward. I switch, and then I drive into it. If they don't, they end up switching on the fly as they make impact, and it's harder to figure out the coordination. So just have them switch into a hand where the hand that's going to strike the next elbow strike is switched, and then drive that in, coming in forward. And I am hitting across this way. It's not a piercing elbow. So the next one is a reverse elbow strike. So reverse elbow, I'm reaching forward, almost like I'm grabbing somebody, and I'm pulling them into my elbow strike. Now, the elbow strike on this one, the hand is turned horizontal. It is not here. This is way stronger than this. Your muscles line up to be a lot stronger. I am square, okay, and I'm coming in here. So reaching back, turn those hips and shoulders, and then bring everything together in a nice square shape. Common mistakes on this, people get the coordination messed up, and they do this, where they're reaching with the hand that they should be striking with, and they end up doing a hug. Instead of bringing them to your elbow, they fold this arm and bring this hand around. So that's probably one of the common mistakes people do on a reverse elbow strike. I will say that the reverse elbow is probably the strongest hand technique that we do in Taekwondo. It is a very strong technique when you do it correctly. Just make sure everything is squared up. Shoulders square, got a nice cross, you got a nice square or rectangle here when you line everything up. Okay? Good strong front stance, everything comes into play. The last fundamental movement is the X stance vertical back fist. So you already know how to do the vertical back fist. We just went over that. This is the same exact technique, but it's done in a X stance. Every once in a while you see people try to do this in a cross leg stance. That's incorrect. So the difference is this. X stance, my base foot is forward. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this. And then I come in and then sit into it. From a different angle, I'm here. Let me pull my legs up so you can see my pretty legs. Okay. So my right foot is planted. My left foot, ball of the foot, tucks in right behind it. My knees and my hips are pointing straight forward. And then I sit down into it on impact. Okay? So it's almost like this back leg is just a kickstand. Okay? If I try to do this, I'm very much off balance because I can't have both heels on the ground at the same time. I really got to get one leg down flat and use the other leg as a kickstand. I'm squeezing my knees in this way, and my hips and knees are all going forwards in that direction. Okay, so going forwards one more time. Okay, this is actually done off of a front kick and comes in this way. So here's your front kick, and I land and step in that way. Okay. When I do this motion with the back fist strike, it is front kick, land down, and hit. Okay. When you're actually doing Oh Jahn, it's done with a little bit of a hop. So I kick, there's a little bit of a hop there, dropping into that X stance right at the last second. The cross leg stance, people will go here. So they'll step, and they'll step this way. That's a cross leg stance, that is not X stance. There is a difference between the two. So that's pretty much it for Taegyuk Oh Jahn as far as new blocks and strikes. If you have any questions about the form, please leave a comment below. I'll try to answer it as best as I can. Until next time, God bless and keep on kicking.